Hey, what if I told you that planning was a super creative process versus a rigid color coded one? Well, hear me out. It is color coded, at least in my world, but it also lets you be the magician of your life. You get to create life on your own terms, which is actually super empowering. So, this week I really wanted to talk to you about how to really plan your life and invest in things that are meaningful to you. So, some of the reasons that planning is super beneficial is one is time is your most limited resource. We only get 24 hours a day, and it's super important to take those 24 hours and make sure that we're investing them into the people, places, and things that are most valuable to us. Another reason it's important is that clarity helps us make better decisions. So, in planning and reviewing and always kind of improving, we're seeing, interesting, I can get more clarity around that and I can make the decision that's best for me. Planning and tracking also help keep you motivated and help you improve yourself. So, over time, as you continue to plan and track and review, you get a sense of, oh my gosh, look at all the things that I've accomplished along the way and see all the progress that you've made. The reason I started becoming such a planner was to reduce stress and overwhelm. So many times there's so much going on and so many things we have to do. If we don't have a plan, it becomes really, really overwhelming and stressful and difficult. So, planning accordingly can really help you reduce that stress. And we'll get into that. Even a simple meal prep on Sunday nights can really reduce stress throughout your work week. And the final reason why planning is so important is to really help you create an intentional life, one that's full of purpose and meaning. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to share some things I do in my personal life to keep me on track and organized in the hopes that it can help you. And I use a really cool planner that I love that I think I introduced in the goal setting for 2025 video, but I'll show it again here and link it again below because it is my favorite planner I've used to date because it almost has too much. So I don't use everything in it, to be honest, because it can be overwhelming, I think, if you do everything. But I am a planner, like I said. So I do use most of the things in here. And it's called Happy Life Planner. And the back says Freedom Mastery. So that's, I guess, who publishes it or who designed it. I'm not sure. But anyway, they also have really other ones. If you go on Amazon via the link here, you'll see like they have manifestation journals, productivity journals. I have not checked those out, but I'm sure they are just as amazing, if not more amazing than this one. So, the reason I love this is that every week I'm in it and they have different sections around goal setting. So, I'll show you on here. So, this is kind of what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let's kind of read through the sections because you don't even need to have the planner. You can just do this on your own for the week. So, in the beginning of the week, you're going to set this week's goal. So, just one big goal you have for the week that you want to accomplish. And then next to it, you list the reward that you want to give yourself if you achieve that goal, which I love. And then you list your top priorities for this week. And there's about 10 spaces for that. And then next to that, you write out your personal to do list, which I love because you're setting your priorities first and then you're putting your to do list, not the other way around. So, for your priorities, it can be outside of just work. A lot of times when we have a planner, we think of, oh, this project, that, blah, but it can actually be everything. So, I want you to think of like the wheel of life, how there's all those different categories. So, based on what's important to you this week, say family, like connecting with family is important to you, being there for a certain event or something, that can be one of them. Maybe there's health that's important to you this week. So maybe that's one of your priorities is getting to the gym 5 days this week. Maybe it's meal prep. So just think about all the things in your life and keep it holistic, I would say, as a guide for when you're setting your priorities for the week. And then you'll set your to do list from there. And then my favorite part of this entire planner is the habit tracker. And it gives you about, I think there's like 8 spaces, but typically I do 3 to 5 things I list out for the week. And then it has Monday through Sunday, a checkbox next to each. So you can see how many times each week you're actually accomplishing that. So some examples that you can put in your habit tracker would be tracking my calories, drinking enough water. I'm trying to think what's in mine. Getting into nature every day, exercising, connecting with friends. Okay, so once you list out the things that you want to track for the week, then the other sections are what am I grateful for? So you can list out things that you're grateful for. I usually do that like middle of the week, but you can do it whenever works for you, beginning and during. And then it has two review sections, which are cool. So everything so far has been planning for the week. The habit tracker starts kind of being that review that you're going to do at the end of each week to see how many times you hit the mark. And then it lists out this week's wins. So you write down your wins for the week. And then it asks, how will I improve next week? So sometimes if you have a really good week, you can say, continue what I'm doing. I've only done that once. I usually have things that will move into the improvement category for the following week. But this is tracking your progress, which I think is so important. There's also like a little blank section in the middle, which they say to use for creativity purposes. So you can even do like a vision board. You can paste different things, put quotes you heard throughout the week. And it's just a cool way to kind of go back and see maybe your learnings from that week. So that's really cool too. And of course, they have the weekly calendar, which you can like write in and your appointments, things like that. It even has on each day, it has calories, fitness, water, and how much sleep you got. So, I mean, that's the stuff I don't use because I feel like, oh my gosh, that's like so much. Um, but hey, if you're a planner like me, maybe you'll use it. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. So that's the weekly. They also have setting your goals for every 30 days, every 90 days with reviews. There's like very extensive stuff in this planner, which I love. It also had the New Year goal setting, which is really cool. So, highly recommend to check out. And if you want to start planning and reviewing to really improve and be intentional with your life, definitely check this out or just use some of the things that I said. You can write it down on, if you have a journal or just a notebook, you can write some of those things down. And for me, the habit tracker is really cool because you get to see like kind of if you're if the actions are I guess, lining up day after day, week after week. And if they aren't, you might be missing that goal that you set, right? But if they are, then you might be exceeding that goal or making that goal. Some other things I do to get organized for the week are meal prep. So this is something I just started actually after I finish recording this video. I'm going to make my overnight oats for the week. That's something new that I'm trying. Banana peanut butter. I like love them. Trader Joe's, they have like the prepared ones already, and I've been trying those. And then I tried the vanilla, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so good. So I just got all the stuff to make them for this week because I just want to try to incorporate them into my breakfast because I'm doing a lot of eggs lately, and I just wanted to switch it up. So just another way to get high protein and try something new. But meal prep can be so essential in prepping for your week and preparing because it really, you can kind of see like, okay, I'm going to have the ultimate amount of protein and veggies and fruit for the week because I'm being organized and being methodical. Now and then, you may be like, oh, I'm really craving something, outside of what you made. And that's okay, once a week to kind of go outside of that. But I really recommend this because if you already have it prepared, it saves you so much time and it also saves money, but it also saves you stress because you don't have to worry about where am I going to get this from? I have to go here or there or order it ahead on the app or blah, blah, blah. It's done. It's it's ready to go. So meal prep would be another recommendation that I have just to kind of plan ahead for the week to come. And some other things I do just in general, I do color code my calendar. I hate to say that, but I do because it's so important. I want to know when I look at my calendar and outlook for the day, I know what green means, yellow, purple, and you can just do it by different things. Like in my world, certain meetings are yellow, other ones are green. If it's like a team meeting, if it's an outside appointment, it's purple. So there's just play around with that. If you're not doing that already, I highly recommend that. I also use, you're gonna laugh at me, but I use different color pens for things. So even when I'm writing in my journal or writing in my planner, I use different colors for different things that coordinate to my Outlook calendar. So maybe this is crazy. I also have different color highlighters. We're not going to get too into it, but anyway, we're going to keep it simple for today. And I think those are some things that I find really helpful for me. I'd love to hear from you. What are some ways that you plan, review, track in your life? And would love to just understand like what is your practice because I'm always looking to learn something new. So drop it in the comments if you have something that you do. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to. It's totally free. So hit the subscribe button below. And I look forward to seeing you next week. In the interim, I hope you have an amazing, amazing week and happy planning. And make sure you make it fun and creative because, again, you're creating the life of your dreams.